All right, I think we're live on Facebook. Happy Wellness Wednesday. Robin and Kim here on another edition of healthy and wellness and fitness, all the things we talk about. And today we're talking about Healthy National Fats Day, which is actually tomorrow, March 21st. But we want to talk about it today. And so I want to talk about why they started it, and then they're bringing awareness to healthy fats because, as we know, back in the 80s, fats got a bad rap, and everyone went, fat free, low fat. I mean, we bought all the things that we thought were healthy, what we were told, and if you remember that food pyramid, they had all the starches and the cereals and the pastas on the bottom, and they had the fats at the very, very tippy top. Well,
Yeah.
actually, we reversed that. That's another story. But anyway, they talk about on their site that 3 types of healthy fats are like chia seeds, fatty fish, nuts, and eggs. And the fatty fish piece, I just want to give you a little acronym to remember like what fatty fish is really healthy. It's got the lowest mercury, and you want to have wild caught fish, fatty fish. But remember the acronym SMASH, and that stands for salmon, mackerel, anchovies, sardines, and herring. So those,
Yummy.
I know, yummy.
Yummy.
So that's a good way to remember the healthy fish fatty acids that we want. So good sources, and this is one of my favorite foods. Avocado is a very healthy fat. It's got high fiber as well. It's kind of like I love it because it has so many nutrients in it. It's that green phytonutrients we have in there too. So that always tells you a lot. Hard cheeses are good. You really want to shoot for unpasteurized cheeses if possible, raw cheeses, hard cheeses, and sheep and goat. Those are my go-tos for cheese. And then also dark chocolate. Everybody loves some dark chocolate, or most people do.
But watch your dark chocolate. Look at the other ingredients that are in there too.
And you want to clean dark chocolate, at least 30% cacao. And the higher that number, the better the chocolate. So think about that. Full fat yogurt. So many people are afraid like a full fat yogurt, or yes, full fat yogurt, because they go for the low fat,
right?
No fat. It's like there's the less fat, the less nutrition. And think about skim milk. I'm a little tangent here, but skim milk has really no nutrition. If you think you're saving calories, you're only saving 10 calories or whatever. Go for 1% or 2% if you're a milk drinker.
We've all been brainwashed.
Yep, we have. Extra virgin olive oil is a really good one too. Olives, really healthy fats. So these are like whole foods that I'm talking about that you get. Well, the cheese is a little processed, but this is and the reason fat is so important is like fat is a major storage for energy. Okay, and so sorry, and our body needs fat as fuel. And think about your fuel sources. You got 2 fuel sources in your body. You've got glucose, which is more the instant grab and go energy that you need instantly. And then your fat storage is your long-term energy. So I liken this as like your glucose is like the refrigerator stored in the fridge. You can just go in and grab that energy and you got it. But the fat storage is in the deep freeze. So you got to burn through that glucose to get to the deep freeze for the fat burning. And so there's a term called fat adapted, and this is for people who have they can use both fuel sources easily, switch back and forth easily. Most Americans are like just have the sugar glucose as their energy because they can't they're just stoking the fire so much with food, with the wrong kinds of food, with the sugars and the flours and just the unhealthy fast food, ultra processed foods that they can't get to the fat storage. And that's what has hurt us in the long run. And I heard this one story, Robin, it was really cool. This doctor was talking about his son who didn't eat keto, but ate a higher fat diet. He played on the basketball team at high school. And when you're playing basketball, you're using tons of energy. By the end of the game, you're wiped out. But he talked about his son who ate more healthy fats than the other kids. By the 4th quarter, he had energy to burn because he was going his long-term energy. So I think that was really interesting. So fat also helps us absorb certain vitamins that are only fat soluble, and that's vitamins A, vitamin D, vitamin E, and vitamin K. And those are really important to vitamins that we need, and they're only absorbed through by eating fat. So the other thing is our body needs essential fatty acids because it's so good for our brain health. Brain health is super important, especially like in babies. And we were talking about this earlier that, the highest fatty food on the planet, and Robin, we talked about this, it's breast milk. Breast milk, and I want to say it's 60 to 80%. I remember it's a really high number of fat. So the babies need the brain, the breast milk is such a great food for the baby and helps with the brain development, which is huge. Also, healthy fat helps control inflammation in our bodies, and it also helps with blood clotting. So, we need fat. And
I got a few more for you too.
go ahead. Yep.
Support immune function, insulate your internal organs, regulates your body temperature, maintains healthy hair. I think you said brain health, and that's so important these days. Helps transport your cholesterol. So you hear all about, and I think that's why now all the new studies that are coming out and they're unlinking cholesterol with heart health. I mean, there's a lot up in the air about
Yeah,
that now.
I've been reading that too.
Yeah. So those are the other ones that I had. So
yeah. And so there's saturated fat, there's unsaturated fat, there's polyunsaturated, there's monounsaturated. So, and I know saturated fat has gotten a lot of bad rap because it comes from animals. And I don't limit myself on that. As I've read and studied, man has been eating animal fat for eons. So we didn't have heart disease. Heart disease is the #1 killer on men and women in the US. So let me share this with you. So Crisco came out as a trans fat. It's a man-made fat made from an
yes.
unedible source.
Yes. I can't remember, but I think you're close.
Yeah.
When you said, yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
Candle something.
Yeah. And so anyway, Crisco came out in 1911. Heart disease did not start until 1921.
Yeah.
And man had no heart disease all the years before, eating animals, eating protein, eating, whatever we ate before that. It's not till, and I'm not trying to blame Crisco, but then everything, trans fats became so popular. It's hydrogenated fats because it's been through all this process. And there's partially hydrogenous fat. You've probably seen that. That was margarine. Margarine is terrible. If you're buying margarine today, it's like, don't, just better not to eat it. Eat butter, eat real butter. But I think that's really important to think about. Like the heart disease piece was huge for me. Like I was like, wow, and we've created this man created this heart disease.
Right.
So anyway, but focusing on your healthy fats, like we talked about avocados, nuts and seeds, olives, so good, extra virgin olive oil. And every day, probably I do MCT oil, which is a medium chain triglyceride from coconut oil, so healthy for your brain as well. I do extra virgin olive oil daily. I do avocados almost daily. I'm not afraid of fat. I'm not afraid. And I eat more than the average bear probably. So, and I'm able to maintain my weight, and brain fog is gone. Energy is high. I mean, all that plays a part in it. And my migraine, that's the other thing. I got rid of my migraines. I had migraines. I was plagued with migraines for 9 years, 3 to 5 a month, and could not figure out how to get rid of them until I upped my fat intake. So I was like, wow, that's a miracle.
And I think too, a lot of things that people would be happy about is healthy fats help with weight loss. I mean, that's a big one there. It's both Kim and I, several years ago, went on a high fat, low carb, way of eating. And both of us had really good results. I mean, as well as Kim with her headaches and things, but,
and that was not keto.
Right. It was not keto. No,
Just
because we still ate, other things other than fat. So one thing I do want to tell, I told Kim when I was looking, some things up to talk about, I did find a really good article, and I'm going to go ahead and put this in the post at the bottom of this Zoom, because it kind of goes into a ton of detail if you are questioning what are good fats or why do I need these fats, and it's by Chris Kresser, and he is a well-known expert clinician and educator in the field of functional medicine. So, and Kim and I love functional medicine. We have a high belief in it. And he talks about healthy fats and, what's all the hubbub, like why are some not good? And like oils, he talks about oils, and you guys have heard Kim and I talk about healthy oils. And he talks in this article, why you need healthier oils and kind of which ones to stay away from to get your fats. So it's good, especially if you like to learn the, what do I want to say? Like the studies behind it, the education behind the one thing that we're saying or why we're saying it. So I will drop that in there. Talks about saturated, unsaturated, monosaturated, poly, and everything, and the whys. Because I always like the why. Go into
Yeah,
more detail.
great.
So
Yeah, thank you. I'm looking forward to
yep,
reading that. So,
yep.
yeah, so we just want to hope you learned something today about healthy fats and hope you up your healthy fats in your diet and see what a difference that can make in your life. And just want you to have fun and live young. And we will see you next week.
Yep.
All right,
Have a
bye-bye.
good one, everyone.